Greetings, greetings, greetings. You are now tuned into the vault. Trust Christian, own nothing, control everything. Want to thank you for tuning in live or listening to replay. Always appreciate everybody for tuning in live or listening to replay. The vault listeners that have been listening for years. The vault listeners that have been listening recently. If you're new, feel free to reach out. Christian at trustchristian.com. Once again, the email is Christian at trustchristian.com. And just appreciate you for tuning in. This is episode 244, the Vault episode 244, with a U.S. stock market crash. And really wanted to do an episode about this because we just hear that there is a consensus in the marketplace right now, at least on the public side, when people are not aware of, what rallies look like, what propaganda looks like, and what actual facts are. And so the Vault is here to put out the facts, talk about the facts, not talk about fiction, not talk about our feelings, not talk about how we feel about the election, but talk about what people that have been surveyed have been saying. People say, where do these surveys come from? They come from the same Division I colleges that you got your education from, if you got your education from a Division I college. They do surveys in statistics. These are the facts. So this is episode 244 with a stock market crash. Appreciate Alaska for tuning in live, as well listening to replay. Feel free to type in what state or what city you're listening in from. Just to shout you all out. We always appreciate wherever you're listening in from, wherever you are in the world. Always appreciate it, especially live. But this episode is to go towards what a stock market crash. So let's just get straight into it, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, the stock markets are at all-time highs again. So maybe people are not aware of the truth, but the truth is these markets are at all-time highs. They're not at lows. These markets are at all-time highs. I mean, what are people smoking right now? What drugs are people on? Before this election, we are in a all-time high in the United States for the S&P 500. The Dow is at an all-time high, 2,800. Me and Cornell were talking earlier this year. We were saying we were going to see the Dow go up to 2,900 before the end of the year. It's at 2,800. Be very aware. This is not financial advice. It doesn't need to be financial advice. It needs to be a financial warning to you and your family not to listen to uneducated or talking heads on TV that are getting paid $60, $70, and $80,000 a year to talk trash. That's all they're doing is talking trash. NASDAQ, 11,000. These markets are at all-time highs, ladies and gentlemen. Oh man, but the stock market is going to crash. Ladies and gentlemen, you ask the average person right now. This is why they're average. Right now, are we in a bear market or a bull market? For everybody listening into the chat, type into the chat. Let's hear what the chat says. Are we in a bear market or a bull market, ladies and gentlemen? Somebody asked a question. We'll definitely address the question in the chat. But feel free to type into the chat. Are we in a bear or a bull market? This is to all the live listeners. And if you're listening to replay, feel free to type in later on to share your consensus opinion about where the marketplace is. Right now we got someone that typed into the chat, we're in the bull market. Ladies and gentlemen, they're exactly right. Appreciate Memphis, Tennessee for tuning in live, listening to replay. Think about this, ladies and gentlemen. We're in the bull market. The markets are at all-time highs. So here we go. You know what Donald Trump calls himself? He calls himself the jobs president. Ladies and gentlemen, did you look at the non-farm payroll this past month? Did you see that more jobs have been introduced into the economy? We get ready to go into Christmas season. Oh no. But we've been hearing, that we've been hearing that, there's going to be a second wave. Ladies and gentlemen, even if it's a second wave, you better put your mask on and get back to work. Because right now, as it stands, we're in the bull market. We're in the bull market, ladies and gentlemen. And how long was the last bull cycle? What, 15, 16, 12, 2012, 2008, 2009? Ladies and gentlemen, you are seeing what a businessman can do in politics. Not people that spend their life in politics and don't do a damn thing but promise you false hope. And so now you have someone that's in business, that's in office, and people think that they possibly may get voted out. Ladies and gentlemen, the lowest rate of employment before coronavirus. Do you think people forgot about that? You think people forgot about them having a job? You think businesses forgot about riding off all-time highs before coronavirus started? No, they didn't. This election is going to be a landslide. Why wouldn't it be? Why would people vote for someone that cannot help them keep money in their pocket and keep them dependent on the government? That's why there will be no stock market crash. What stock market crash? People are seeing Tesla go up in front of their face. How is this company gaining equitable value or transactional value? How is it gaining value? Right now it's supposedly coronavirus era, so people were locked in the house. How are they buying electric cars? How is this company gaining value? These are the questions that you have to ask yourself as an investor. Will the stock market crash? No, it will not crash. As long as you have someone in office that's doing business the right way. When they bought sticks and stones against this man, impeachment, that's the highest order of you getting kicked out. And they lost. That's because he has his affairs in order. Oh no, well he didn't pay the taxes. That was the first time argument. We're in the second round. You're going to bring up the second? In the second round, you're going to bring up the same argument that got defeated in the first round? That's what losers do. That's why they'll lose again in this situation. The stock market should not involve the government. And because of this particular president being a business and a jobs president, the market will stay open. He wants the market to stay open. Let thy will be done on your end. Protect yourself. But oh no, people think, oh, well, the president got coronavirus, so the market's going to crash. The markets, they did a little dip on Friday, and where are they at right now? At all-time highs. But if you want to continue to listen to these guys that are making less than $100,000 a year on TV, these newscasters, these guys that aren't even full-blown investors, they're journalists. They don't have any skin in the game. If they did, they wouldn't be getting paid $60 and $80 and $100,000 sitting on TV, carrying peanut butter and jellies in their briefcases, riding the metro to work. That's why we're not going to see a stock market crash in 2020 or otherwise anytime soon. We might see one of the longest bull runs come out of this situation. The deregulation that happened in the States, the regulation that happened in the foreign markets, the trade wars that were going on, that were ended, the unnecessary defense spending overseas. Unnecessary. How long were we in a war in the United States with these other countries that people want to so-called remember, but they really forgot? Oh yeah, they were going to find weapons of mass destruction and didn't find shit. They didn't find of anything. But what they did find is somebody's head at the end of a stick. You want to know what that's called? That's called V for vendettas. That's called V for vendettas in politics. When another politician dies, that's a V for vendetta. Somebody went in there and used strong arm tactics. But they're out of office now, so it's nothing to say. They're hiding behind lifetime protection. They're hiding behind a pension. Do your research. Is Donald Trump even taking a salary right now as the president? Ladies and gentlemen, the stock market is not going to crash because It took a breather. Go back and look at what just took a breath. Retail. Go find out what took a breath. Go find out what transitions just happened in the marketplace. The work from home society. These companies literally had an opportunity to find out how much they can do with little. Ladies and gentlemen, you can read these statistics. These companies have been wanting to lay off their highest liability employees. They have. And now they know they don't have to bring back as many jobs into certain sectors. People have seen online retailing explode. What makes you think that it's not going to continue to explode? What makes you think that? But what makes you think people don't want to get out the house right now? People are human beings. You think they don't have a propensity to still go out and do the whole Black Friday thing? It might be the highest numbers ever. Why? Because people, they feel they missed out on something. Remember, there's a term called FOMO, fear of missing out. People feel like they missed out on shopping for months, to be around people shopping. This is the reality. When they call it market sentiment, they're talking about human testing. They're testing out your thoughts and your feelings through these surveys that people don't want to give truth and reality and respect to. But when you see the non-farm payrolls come out, and they've added over 400,000 jobs in a month right before the election, what makes you think right before November they won't do the same exact thing so he can brag about the fact that he's brought 1 million jobs back? Close to 1 million jobs back in the economy in 2 months. But people are falling for the propaganda. Oh, well, the president's got the coronavirus, so that means we need to shut down the economy again. But how? How can you shut down the economy when 400,000 jobs have just been reintroduced back into the economy? These warehouses are hiring people again. What about Amazon? Aren't they hiring more warehouse workers right now? Maybe more online shopping, but aren't they hiring more warehouse workers right now? Ladies and gentlemen, don't be fooled by the public propaganda. The public information to share with you that someone has no financial interest in you. No, the market is not going to crash. The United States market is the strongest market in the world. It is the leader in the world. People want to talk about China. They're the ones that introduced the virus to the world. How are they the strongest market? They're using dirty tactics to shut down markets. Dirty tactics. They're letting viruses get out of their country. And you respect these people? You have an interest in dealing with these people? Oh, because they make everything. For what do they call it? They used to call it child labor in the United States. Now they call it slave labor. That's what it is. Slave labor. Would you go to China and work for pennies? For minimum wage? Oh yeah. No one's in the chat saying yes they would. But they want to talk about China and this country that doesn't even allow your American products to go into their country and be sold. They have limitations on how many products can be sold in their country. But you love this country, right? What about America right now? Being the forefront and the leader of reopening the markets. There are certain states that haven't even thought about opening up their market. And guess what? You are seeing a mass migration from people leaving those Democratic states up north, and they're going to places like Georgia and Atlanta where the market is open, where California is still shut down, and they're moving over to Texas. They're moving over to Texas. They're moving over to Arizona. They're moving over to Vegas. These people have been migrating for years. Florida's market's just opened back up. But the market's going to crash? Florida's market was totally and traditionally dependent upon tourism. So right now they don't have a lot of foreign tourism, but the domestic tourism is holding strong. What happens when they open the floodgates back up to these Europeans to go back to Florida? What happens when they open the floodgates back up to California and Southern California is able to depend on tourism again from Asia? But guess what? Good old Georgia said they're going to leave their market open. One of the largest international airports in the world, their market is open. And they're not going down the drain. Ladies and gentlemen, doom and gloom comes from fear. That's all it is, ladies and gentlemen. The stock market crashing, all these idiots on the internet that live in the United States and benefit from a free market and benefit from a booming economy, selling their whatever they're selling. Are they selling you fear? Are they selling you doom and gloom? Or are they selling you wealth and prosperity? Are they selling you growth, economic recovery? They're not selling that. They're selling that the market's going to crash. Well, Warren Buffett said there was a market that was going to crash. Ladies and gentlemen, remember, everybody has the right to change their opinion. Everybody. Warren Buffett also said he wasn't going to touch the cryptos. The banks said they weren't going to touch the cryptos. The United States said they weren't going to touch the cryptos. Guess what? They are. Yeah. Oh, we could easily do an episode. Are you public or are you private? Are you doing business in your name or are you doing it personally? Are you doing business personally or in business? Because that's what's going on. Are you doing business or are you doing personal? Because that's what's going on right now. The market is growing. People have typed into the chat. There's been no one to say it's been a bear market. No one. Because Americans are living in the greatest country in the world. And they already know what market they're in. They're in the greatest economy in the world. It is booming. And what Americans should be focused on is not letting China bully them any longer and say that they're going to not allow American cars in their country, but bring over 10 to 20 and 30 and 50. You can only have one Ford to 20 and 30 Hondas and Toyotas. See, it's about political power just as much as it is economic power. But we already know. Politics, they don't sell anything, right? Except for books. Politicians sell books. They increase taxes. That's how they make money. What about the private enterprisers? They're making money hand over fist right now because of the president. And if you think just because he has the fake coronavirus, the so-called thing, that what makes you think these politicians can't lie? You have to look at things with an objective eye. Look at what they're doing. They're playing off people's emotions. They tell you it's a democracy, but in the Constitution it says it's a republic. Did we forget about that? O ye the people? Right. It's easy to keep standing on stage and telling people what they want to hear. That it's going to be a stock market crash, because that implies fear, uncertainty. The president having COVID creates uncertainty in the market. Do you not understand? As business people, that's great for us. That allows us to get the fakers out the way and get the ones that actually are really producing something worthwhile and of value. We refine it and we make it better. So when the market comes back, when people get jobs and they're able to pay for the product or service, they'll pay for it confidently because we weathered the storm while the shakers and the fakers got shook out. That's how business is done. Is your product or service going to stand the test of time? The United States just stood the test of time. And they're going to continue to stand it because of free market economics. independence. Appreciate you all for tuning in live, listening to replay. Feel free to type into the chat where you're listening from. We've had a resounding bull market. Someone asked a question about Peter Schiff. What has Peter been selling? Peter's been selling doom and gloom and fear. Well, guess what? That sells. Would they say sex sells? Yeah. What's the largest industry over the internet right now, ladies and gentlemen? Let's see if the chat knows what is the largest industry on the internet. It's sad but true. So let's hear it. What is the largest market over the internet? Let's see if people's Twitter fingers can type fast enough before we end this episode. Ladies and gentlemen, it's business, it's not personal. Would a U.S. stock market crash? Not as long as they have the jobs president in office. When you want to see these other people close down their markets, you're going to see jobs disappear. Because companies are going to move. Because the entrepreneur and investor has to do something. Not the employee. The employee sits back and waits for a handout. Wow. Somebody actually just really typed the truth into the daggone chat. The largest market over the internet is porn. Someone said adult content. There we go. Adult content. They cleaned it up. Ladies and gentlemen, how is the largest market? What is that market? Is that education? No. Why do you think it's so easy to sell fear then? Because people want to sit on their butt and do nothing. Or do they really? Do you want the economy really to crash? For your 2020 Christmas? For your 2020 Thanksgiving? Not at all. So anybody that's spewing that garbage that the stock market is going to crash, whether it's before this election or not, turn it off. They're selling you, as one of the mentors used to say, wolf tickets. That means tickets that ain't going to get you into the game, to see the game. They're liars. We're already in the economic recovery. We've seen the fact that jobs are coming back. It's already been going on. And we're going to continue to see it grow. Even with the second wave. Why? Because people are taking more precautions. They're cleaning up after themselves. Things they should have been doing from the beginning, they're doing more now. They're cleaning their hands. They're wiping their noses. They've actually acquiesced to social distancing. They've acquiesced to it. You acquiesce to 6 feet. What more do you need to do? You acquiesce to wearing a mask. What more do you need to do? Now you need to lock yourself in your house? No. See, when you live in a free market like the States, where it's not controlled by the politicians, and you actually can live your life, or you can not live your life if you want to, you'll see what happened. Markets just grew. Despite what the common media, the mainstream media is saying. But guess what? They're going to manipulate you with your athletes right now, with your entertainers. Oh, this person got it. These athletes got it. Hide in the house. Oh, really? You're seeing it happen in front of your eyes, ladies and gentlemen. It's called manipulation of the markets. When people ask, how are the markets manipulated? Think about it. Jeff Bezos also owns Washington Post. You think the Washington Post is going to say anything wrong with Amazon or any company that he has under his holdings? No. Buyer beware, as they used to say. Buyer beware. Appreciate you all for tuning in live, listening to replay. Definitely going to do an episode Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We've been wanting to do this episode for a few days, and we got so many more episodes lined up in the clips because the markets are demanding growth right now. See, you got two thought processes. People think you either want to be lazy or you want to do something. Most people want to do something. We're going to see how the markets boom. And the question is are you going to benefit from this boom? Are you going to benefit from the markets going up? Right now, 10.5 to what? 2012, 2020, 2020, 2020, the 12th month of the year. Are you all going to see growth in your house, in your family, in your communities? That's what we're going to see right now at the vault. We're seeing exponential growth in certain markets. Someone said the markets will boom. They're already booming. Have you not seen the stocks? The stock market is at an all-time high. If we pull up the market right now, the markets are at highs. They replaced their previous high in February, 8 months ago. Remember 8 months ago the markets were at all-time highs? 8 months ago. Look how fast the United States market can recover. But guess who drives that? It drives it by people like the listeners of the vault. The people that are going to go out and do their due diligence and research and grow. They're going to create. They're going to infuse capital. They're going to infuse savings into the marketplace. They're going to create jobs. That's what they're going to do. And we're seeing it happen. It's not going to happen in a month or two, after the election, during the election. It's happening right now. The question is are you investing? Or are you still spending money? Are you investing or are you spending? Are you doing your due diligence? Appreciate you all for tuning in live, listen to replay. Feel free to shout out the vault, Christian@trustchristian.com for a consultation. Look forward to you all joining trustee training. Look forward to hearing from you all. Peace.